Yeah, the audio is on the fritz again. So, but I'm wise, so I checked, and I think this is now working. And that's loud. That's oh, it's not even plugged in. Okay, so it's that microphone. That's great. Uh, cool. Welcome to another stream. Last time we got the traceroute function. Traceroute? Trace line. Traceroute's an internet tool. The trace line function basically kind of working. There was some edge cases, and I promised I would figure out what was wrong with them in the interim, and sadly, I did. So it'll be easy to fix. Um, so just to have a quick peek, we can make some blocks. We can do it several rooms away, or even across an entire cycle, and it seems to work. Also, if I take out this, which I thought I did take out, I must have put it back in before I committed, then you can go very happy with drawing stuff. Bish bash bosh. So there's a few quality of life. Oh, I should be able to first of all make that big. I should be able to, yeah, I can draw on that wall on the left through there. You can't see it because it doesn't show you the rooms, but that is in fact the same room there that we see here. Anyway, it's all good. Right, I want to do some quality of life improvements of the highest quality. So the first was that little edge case that caused it to crash now and again, and that is quite easily fixed. The problem was, I figured out it was setting a normal on a block when it started inside a solid wall, and it's pretty easy to fix. You only set the normal if you've made any movements. If you haven't made any movements, the normal is initialized as default to 0, 0, 0. No problem there. That basically takes care of that. I'm going to close all files and just open that one. So bish bash bosh, that fixes that. Easy peasy. Something I cursed out on stream with a torrent of abuse was the fact that this gets assigned to another variable here. That's completely pointless. Let's just put on a big girl pants, is that the expression? And do that. Whoa, there we go. Passed by value. Also, there we go. Okay, that's another quality of life improvement. And the third one was this while true no. No, just don't do that. What's the final most check? It's actually this one. So I just want to check if trace t is less than 1.0. While that is true, and then we can, okay, we'll do a few extra pointless lines of code, but then we can say for sure we know what this is at the end. So now we're not doing a while true. I don't like while true. It's just, it's asking for it to be, it's asking for an infinite loop, basically. I mean, that's what it is. It's an infinite loop. And we can prove that you got trace t and it gets set to the next value, which is the biggest next value, and these next values are always incremented by delta, which itself is 1 over an absolute value, so it's always positive. But so it's not much different, but it gives me peace of mind. That's all I'm asking. Just a little bit of peace of mind. Oh yeah, as always, I'm taking song requests, so Want a little song of any kind? It's fully possible for me to do that. I'm here for you. Okay, that's wonderful. And all that together, just check it builds, check it runs, check it still does the things that it alleges it does. Whoa. Well, that's new. That's very interesting. I did that for about half an hour offline. I did not get a single crash. What was I doing? I went into this room and did a bunch of stuff like that. Come on. Nice. Okay, this is probably to do with... Yes, it's to do with what I just changed. There's no guarantee that when you're launching from inside the voxel, maybe I didn't get the edge condition. That wasn't quite as easy to trigger. You know what might be the thing that causes it? When I'm doing this at home or flying upstream in the interim, I tested it with a touchpad on a laptop, so you can't really move the mouse and move your location. You kind of have to do one or the other because the touchpad blocks the keyboard. Whereas here I've got a mouse. It's actually a backup mouse because my kid managed to break my mouse today. I got mouse and keyboard, so I can actually do both. Maybe that's a factor that plays into it. I believe this is still the same thing though. The it'll hit a block on the edge of the block or something. It's to do with hitting the normal on the outside of a block in a separate room. So I'm not super concerned about that for now. Let's just pretend it's fine. It's not fine. I'll fix it at some point. Fix it at some point, okay? Jeez, it's all fine. So world.hpp changed and world.cpp changed. Tidy up, trace line function. So if you do it, I think it's what whilst you're going through a room transition. Oh, I wonder if it calls update, then it moves. Okay, then it moves. Then it pushes you into different rooms. I was wondering if you move into a different room and then trace line from the room you were previously in or something, but it doesn't seem so. Okay, that's all wonderful. So let me. Can I code review? How do I? How do I make a? How do I do it? Oh, there we go. I want to create pull request. I have no idea why I did this on a branch. Title, trace line. Whoa. Trace line. This got my real name and details, so if you don't get to see this, you'll find out my real name, which is very easy to find if you spend literally 20 seconds on Google. Oh, close the branch. Great pull request. Oh, I've made a pull request. Oh, we'll have a look at it. Yep. Yeah, it seems fine. Merge. Merged. Okay, so if I go back to master, not merge, check it out, master, get pull, get log, oh, that's my name anyway, lol. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, okay, well, get stash. How did it know that? I don't know how it knew my name was Ian. How's this? I signed up as Port Monkey, yet somehow still doxed me. Oh no, well anyway, my secret's out. It's the same name I did my GDC talk under, so... Okay, and this definitely crashes or something when you do it between rooms sometimes. Oh, is it going to crash if I do it between rooms like this? Oh, I didn't. I got it crash like twice. Now it's not crashing. There we go. And I'm watching the stream. Yeah, I was right between, definitely when you transition between rooms, so it's like doing a trace line right on the... Well, whatever. That's bad, but maybe I'll make a test case that triggers it. Okay, so if I just do a search for 16, there's one place that says 16. If I do a search for 32, other than you in 32, there's 3 places that do 32. What I want to do now is tidy all these up so we can get some hypercuboids on the go, because that's a pretty cool idea, right? So what I'm going to do first is... No, I'm just going to straight up make it hypercuboids. Right, we're going to go with some hypercuboids. So we set up all these reference frames, and we build the bases for each of these. Then we initialize all the rooms. So I'm just going to, that is all fine, but I don't want to init the rooms all the same. I'm going to give them a size when I initialize them. So let me just go do that immediately. So that's going to take GLM IVEX3 size. So we're doing that size. Half size. I don't know if we need that. Size X, Y, Z. Basis size, floats X, Y's and Z's. Actual size. Is you know what, I might make this a bit more like one thing, then another thing, then another thing. So this basis size is width, height, depth. And this actual size is basis size X, y, z, because that's room basis size, because that's how you calculate the actual size from the basis size, and that's the basis size is just the voxel size in the basis. The definition is it's width, height, and depth is basis. Okay, I'm not going to get so fancy here. Y size y. Z size z. This stuff I'm not so sure about. Oh, this big block, let's just go to that for now. Half size can be size of 2, yeah, sure. Okay. And this initialize function is going to be like that. It just is. Okay, cool. I'm tempted to run it. That's all wrong because I never initialize the rooms now. Let's see what happens if the rooms are not initialized. Yeah, it's stupid. There's nothing there. Okay, so now we are going to initialize the room. We're going to init world rooms blah, and we need some sizes. So we need to specify the sizes of the rooms, and that's it needs to be consistent across Hypercube. So we just need to specify it in a 4-dimensional coordinates. So let's start with just 32 all the way across. Let's say size x, x, x. And then we're gonna 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, this is very unfolded. So the world rooms are gonna be these rooms in that order. And then the sizes are simply the sizes from these. So I can just copy them out. And if I don't make mistakes, y, w, x, w, x, w, x, z. And then for the next column, z, 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 y, 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 y. Third column, w, y, w, x, w, x, z, x. And let's just double check every... oh. Could you do like... These swizzle operators, that's a shame. I don't know how to do that in the language though. Let me just format these expressions correctly before I double check them, because I'm going to double check them by checking that each one has an x, y, z and w. X, w, z, y, yes. Y, x, z, w, yes. Y, w, z, x, yes. Z, x, y, w, yes. Z, w, y, x, yes. W, x, y, z, yes. W, z, y, x. Yeah, okay, cool. They're all good. So now if we run that again, we should be back to our hypercube. Bish bash bosh. I don't know why I've started saying that. This is the hypercube we know and love. And let's crash it. Oh, it's not crashed. It's the pink one. It was like the pink one going down into the grey one, or the... Well, the pink one doesn't go down into the grey one here. but it does here. It's not just simple transitions. Okay, that's just the regular hypercube. Let's make it a hypercube orb. Let's say it's like 20, no, let's stick to even numbers. 26, 32, 38. 4 dimensions, 1 hypercube. Wow! Oh, that straight up crashes. Let's give it a go and see what it's doing. Oh, it's sad there. Why is it sad? Oh. I've done this loop is back. Oh. Should have seen that one coming. Okay. Okay, well, wait, there we go. Oh, it's a well, the rooms are definitely different sizes. But what you might notice is they are not drawn in the right place, which is definitely wrong. Well, that's okay. I'm not judging, but that is definitely wrong. And offensive. Okay, well that's because this end thing is just doing multiples of 32. But it should be that frame offset function. Frame offset for the world and reference frame are on that axis. Now, does this work? I have no idea, but it should have worked because I worked it out in my head the other day. So giving it the correct frame offset should put all the rooms in the right place. That works surprisingly well. Okay, so it still seems glitchy because it's still moving. Oh, it's still moving between rooms based on them all being 32 by 32. So it's not quite as seamless as it could be. But that too can be fixed. So, oh, I was looking at this exact piece of code. Apparently, okay. This one's more complicated to fix. We need to know what the room size is in the basis for this position, which is stored in P, which indeed has a reference frame with it. Yeah, P RF. Why is that in italics? Because it's a reference. Well, that's super nifty if that's true. No. Non-const reference. It's italics. That's very nice. Not sure if true, but it's very nice. So how do we know how big a room is in a reference frame? Well, we can just work it out. Reference frame size for a room and a reference frame. So how do we work this out? Excuse me. Oh well, it's right there. It's literally just that. No. It's absolutely not that. It's the reverse of that. So copy pasting at random. So it's a vec3 of, so what's the vec4 of mx times, no, we want to dot that with, so what the x coordinate in the reference frame actually is we want to that with room actual size. And that'll get us the x coordinate. And we want to do y and z. And we're going to make these an absolute because that's just a bit flip. Or I could abs the whole vec 3, but it seems like bit flipping some ints is going to probably be faster than... Well, absolute on a vector is also a bit flipping, really, isn't it? Well, then let's just do it in there. Because that might be one operation rather than 3. Also, whatever, is one operation from where I'm sitting, so that's good for my Brian. And I say Brian, I mean brain. Okay, so we're going to check for each position. We're going to check all the axes, but first we need to know what the room size. Consort size is reference frame size for the room, which is worlds, rooms, PRF side, and the reference frame is PRF. Okay, cool. Okay, now we know what the side size is. If dot of the position with that axis is bigger than dot the size and that axis, then that is that at all sensible? No, because that's going to be wait. So we've got some position, we've got an axis, which is going to be 1 or an axis vector, which is going to be 1 or 0 in x, y, or z. And we've got a size, which is an x, y, z of the true size of the room in that reference frame. So we want to check if that exceeds the bounds, if the position's coordinate exceeds the bounds of the size. I guess I can just say it's an absolute again. Might be a more elegant way of stating that. That doesn't seem correct. Now, well, again, just like rendering, we need the frame offset and the reference frame on the axis that we're going down, which is AX, and we get some frame offset, and we can subtract that. I'm not sure that this line is correct, but I guess we'll see if this is as seamless. Well, I can now confirm it definitely isn't correct, and that's a super cool... Oh, that's super weird. Oh, yeah, that's all kinds of wrong. Yeah, okay, whatever. How did I did this earlier? Perhaps I wrote down that I need to prepare the size here, which is fine. Presumably it's correct. I think this is the problem. So let's have a quick meditation on that if statement. What's up with that if statement, bro? Who knows? Well, we do if we think about it. We've got position dotted with AV. That will take out the one specific. So just let's do a quick example. So say your coordinates are something like 10, 17, or negative 10, 17, 9 or something. So first coordinate is going to be x, positive x. Okay, so dot them together, you're going to get negative 10, 0, 0. Meanwhile, you have a size thing which is like 32, 32, 32. Oh, the size is the size, it's not half. It's not centered around 0. Okay. So that's definitely something to improve. Okay, so you got a half size. It's like 16. Oh, this keyboard's a bit broken. And also my typing is quite shoddy. So we got, yeah, 16, 16, 16. If we dot that, we get 16. 0, 0, and it takes an absolute. So now we want to know if negative 10 is bigger than 16. Well, it's not. Then test the other way, which is with negative 1, and you get positive 10 here, and you would then get negative 16, but it takes the absolute, so it's still positive 16. Does that exceed that? No, it doesn't. Then you would get 1 here, positive y. Now here you're getting 17, and here you're getting 16. Is that bigger? Yes, it is. So moving the y-axis. That might just be it. That was possibly the only thing that was wrong. If true, this should work. I mean, yep. The reason I kept the room dimensions even was because this hole is cut into the center, and I think if we give it an odd number, that calculation would be way off kilter. Okay. I mean, seems like a hypercuboid. But I didn't pick very interesting dimensions because I didn't. Let's pick something. Let's pick something fun. 20, 20, 20, 60. Let's make a real long, thin hypercuboid. Oh, okay. It's a junction with lots of stuff, and then you get a lot of roly-poly rooms. Oh, that's cool. And then you get to another one of these, and it's back to being a big junction thing. If you go on the vertical, then lots of tall rooms. Back to this, short rooms. Vertical rooms. Oh, yes. Indeed, this does seem to fit. Yes. Okay, that's fun. What about the other way around? A real big room with a really tiny, well, it's not tiny, but a lot smaller other dimension. Wow, we're in a big room. And then the other room, oh, it's very thin. And if you go down here, you get lots of flat rooms. There's the other giant room. And here you get a big, okay, yeah, this is all pretty sensible. It looks correct. It's changing correctly. I can draw on the walls. Go down here and along, all that stuff is on the roof. Oh, okay, so if I go back and then down to, it'll be on the floor. Wow. Okay, I mean, this is pretty cool. We got all sorts of stuff. Now we can set to like 16, 60, 24, 48, 50, 48. A bunch of different dimensions. Oh, okay, we've got some thin rooms, real flat thin room, quite a chunky room. Obviously another chunky room, all the rooms come in pairs. So that's pretty neat. I really am not even planning to do these hypercuboids in the game, maybe. I don't know. I feel like one or two might be good, or a level that starts as a cube and then it gets elongated. Oh, this is kind of cool. It'd be really cool if you could see through all the rooms indefinitely, but that is on the to-do list. So one thing that could be improved that I have in my notes, so just a little clever idea, is this frame offset uses a switch statement and it uses a move that rejigs the reference frame and adds some stuff and then blah blah blah. It's excuse me, it's a little bit, I'm sure it's fine and I'm sure it executes in a minuscule nanosecond, but it's just a touch I don't know, like a little bit, could be more elegant, but it definitely could be more elegant in a way that I have thought of. So this actual size has the coordinates of the room in the basis vector for the room. That made no sense. So the room has a size, say it's 32, or say it's 10, 20, 30. And if it's the positive X room, something like, well, we can actually go check for sure. If it's the positive X room, then, okay, Y will be 10, Z will be 20, W will be 30. Okay, if that's the size. So it would have 0, a vec4 with 0 in the X, then 10, then 20, then 30, 0, 10, 20, 30. But that 0 is completely useless, nothing is using it. However, what it really should be is the other coordinate, which, let's say that's 40. So it should have a vec4 that's like 40, 10, 20, 30. And then, if it had that, which is a basic freebie, and it's a little bit more honest, then this frame offset function just needs which side it is plus the side. So how do I explain this? This is like a thing that I think is kind of obvious because I've been doing this for a long time, but probably totally is not obvious. So if I start in the W room, I've got X, Y, Z. Let's say I make a little room, 20 by 20 by 20. The other coordinate is going to be 48. What you will notice is that the primary axis in every direction is the one axis, is the one length that this room doesn't have. So this room is 20 by 20 by 20. So it's a cube. But the hypercube is 20 by 20 by 20 by 48. And if you look into every other room, it's 48 blocks in the axis in which you're looking down into it. So if I travel into this room, look, along this axis it's 48, and if I travel into this room it's 48 on that axis. So if I go up, the up-down axis is 48. So that frame offset could be vastly improved because it would become just a simple calculation based on that one value. But all it needs to do is actually give the size. And I can just pass that in. I don't care. I don't care. Well, I'll do whatever I want. Plus 2vec4 absolute room side times W size. Room reference frame size times W size. And it wants that as a float. Did it. Now that's not going to work here because I'm no longer giving the size. This is easy. It's x, x, y, y, z, z, w, w. Okay. Cool. Now I'm giving an extra size in, and just to show that this doesn't mess anything particularly up, we can fly around the hypercube a little bit. Oh, did I just say hypercube? I meant the hypercuboid surface. I'm sure Xenorogue would criticize my loose terminology. Mathematics is a very specific field. Oh, whoosh, straight over my head. Bang, it got me. Whoa, look at that. Tendrils. Okay. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. All this stuff is quite... quite unnecessary now. Dot. What are we're getting two different. Okay, I'm going to just call this target, and it's going to be 2vec4 of reference frame side. Okay, we don't need that. Let's switch from direction. Excuse me. Now the target is going to be... Whoa! Excuse me! Princess. So vec4 x-axis, or the y-axis, or the z-axis. So now we have two of them. Well, now we just want to return half of the dot product of the absolute of target and world room's actual size. Don't need that, or that, or that, or that, or that. Okay, that's more elegant. Let's just a straight up little calculation. And not only is it more elegant, it's using this for both the rendering and the room transition and a bunch when it's tracing lines, all of which seem to still function. So I think maybe it also works, which is always a benefit. Elegant and functional. I mean, honestly, you can let functionality have a pass for a really elegant piece of code. You know, it doesn't matter if it doesn't work, if it looks beautiful. But in this case, we get both. It's more beautiful. And it also works. We can turn this into a const ref, which is a nice feature. Bash. Okay. I've done a bunch of stuff. What have we been doing? Oh yeah, cuboids. I've just done all these things. I got one big commit. It's like, oh yeah, now cuboids work. It seems functional. It's still got that crash. Let's have a look. Okay, that first one, that's some good stuff there. That's good. Oh, that's nice. Okay, I kind of like that little block. See, I just noticed, I just commented that out. First of all, you shouldn't really... If you're commenting code, you should really delete it. Let's make the block smaller though, because my rooms are now smaller. And also my rooms are all over the place. I like that hypercuboids work, but I don't really want a hypercuboid. After all that. I want it. Oh, that's done. H hyper. Okay. Back to good old cubes. Ah, look at that. Back to what we're all used to. Oh gosh, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay. Let's check that diff again. So nice. I haven't been making many things const. Usually I try and make lots of things const, and I didn't. Which is a little bit poor. So, ink. Both of those are fine. Source room, world. But these two changes I'm still leaving out because they're just hacks. Support hypercuboids. Bish. Bash bosh. Okay. Why am I keep saying that? Okay, that's a lot. Oh, some of these files are getting pretty long. Oh, look at that. 200 lines. Ugh. But, oh, one of them's 221 lines. Yeah, the header files are short. And are these long? But we'll go. Yes, yeah, they're all not too bad. 221 lines though. What has the world come to? It's probably going to get longer. This stuff is pretty complicated. Pretty mathsy magical. It is what it is, so yeah. I'm getting tired. Whenever I get tired, that's when I fall asleep. Okay, I think that's everything I had in my notes. So we're coming up on an hour, and things are pretty good. What should we do? I wanted to go through the rendering. So what I want to do is get some dang furniture in this here hypercube, but that's not super easy. So what would we need for that? So at the moment we've got the rendered room as a rendering engine. Rendering engine. Okay, and then can render room. Then what? Right, what are we doing? So what's the problem with this? It's fine. Well, I mean, it's not. It's just a series of stopgap measures glued together. But other than that, it's fine. Each of these has their own shader, so that needs to come out. We really want some sort of like shader program, some sort of like draw manager, draw barista. No, astronaut. No, draw man. There's nothing wrong with management. But we have to fight the power structures from within. Cool. Oh, friends again. Should I wake up at 2 a.m. to talk it? So, no. Alright, so yeah, a draw manager, and that can have all the programs and the textures for everything, which could be in a texture array. Does that actually make it good? Yeah, probably. Well, not all the textures need to be in a texture array, but all the static geometry can all share textures. And then what's the render room? Render room should really just make a mesh. So we should have some sort of mesh thing, and then all the rooms and the models I'll make meshes with this mesh, and then all the meshes go into a big buffer. The one problem with this, which is a bit of a spanner in the works, is that the chirality of objects needs to flip. So objects need to have inverted triangles. Oh gosh. That's convoluted. It's very convoluted. But my basic idea is you make a mesh, you have all the vertices, then you also have the indexes for the vertices, and then you also have the mirrored indices. So every mesh that gets built will get built in both a ordinary form and a flip form. For static meshes, for dynamic meshes it's not going to matter so much, because you can just make a matrix that flips it inside out, and then you can change your polygon winding order on the fly. But for static meshes, because dynamic meshes are probably all going to need to be rendered individually, I don't actually want too many of them because that's more and more stuff to render. Static meshes, to batch them properly, it's going to have a big buffer of vertices and a big buffer of indices, and when this is going to be so cerebral. So when an object has different chirality, or so say there's 10 objects and they're all the same and they're all have the same chirality, then it just needs the regular indices. Or if they're all achiral, it just needs the mirrored indices. Or if you have 2 of one type and 8 of another, then it's going to need to put both of these indices into the big buffer. and that's okay. So rendering needs a big rejig. So all these meshes need to go into a big buffer. Might do that per room, 1 buffer per room. Or maybe 1 big static mesh buffer for the whole thing. That would be nice. The only thing is, I think I'd have to change textures. Well, I don't know. If the lighting's stored in a 3D texture or something, then it would be complicated. It'd be complicated, but the whole thing is going to be complicated. But anyway, that's some vague thoughts on rendering. Is everything... Okay. It's all up to date. I don't want to just start on rendering now because I'm not going to go for much longer. So it's probably time for me to say adios. It's about an hour. Nice short stream. They're all like an hour and 20 minutes, so I'm under par or over par, whichever one is better. Right, that's cool. That's me. I'm out. Peace. That means goodbye. And also peace.